This is the story of Mackenzie, an animal trainer, and Canner, the traumatized horse he decided to rescue rather than letting him be put down.
I'm Mackenzie. This is Canner. When I started working with him, he was traumatized.
So Canner's owner wasn't ready for a horse who was terrified of everything, who, when you bent over too quickly, might turn and run, nostrils flaring, through the fence if he wasn't so afraid of the fence. Understandably, she gave up. She was going to have him put down. But I thought that I might have the understanding and the time, the patience, and enough love to turn him around.
You want to try balancing this? Ready? Balance. You got it?
So I'm a clicker trainer. It's a method that's developed from behavioral psychology. It uses positive reinforcement to communicate with animals. Clicker training works particularly well for animals that have been traumatized. Kenner and I have good days and bad days. On a good day, I go out there and the whole thing is like a fun game. And we're both ready to play. And it can be some of the best time of my week hanging out with him. On a bad day, I may have haltered him 100 times, and for some reason he's regressed, and now I can't even walk up with the halter again. On a bad day, I try and make the game fun, and there's just no winning. What makes this worth it to me is that Canner's been there for me just as much as I've been there for him. I also just want to believe that the bad things that people do in this world, other people can undo. And I'm hoping that that's something that'll happen for Canner. I'm trying really hard.
Howdy folks, hope everybody's having a good evening. It was fun to play that video for y'all. We've been talking about opening up training sessions with that sort of stuff for a long time, so it's fun to actually have it set up where we can do that. My name's Mackenzie. I'm a clicker trainer. I've been involved here at the ranch for years and years now. This is my horse Canner. Somebody left some oats there on the ground, so he's doing a very good job cleaning those up. And while he does, I figured I'd just say hi again to everybody who knows me, and nice to meet you to all you folks who are new. Hi. Okay, Schneck. I guess Canner's ready to do some training. So, Canner's an Arabian. He's a rescue horse. He was pretty rough when I met him. As the video probably showed you, if you caught that. He used to be pretty afraid to do pretty much anything, especially if it had to do with people. But over the course of training, he's gotten much, much better with some pets. And now he'll let me do all sorts of stuff. But there's like one big thing that we're still hoping to tackle, which is trailering. He's gotten in the trailer for me a few times, but I want him to really enjoy it. And I'd like him to like it as much as he likes getting brushed, which is to the point where like he enjoys actually doing it. He does it pretty happily. It becomes a self-reinforcing behavior, like getting brushed is. He used to be so afraid of anything that I was holding, he would turn and run away. Even if I picked something up or had something in my hand, I even walked towards him. And now you can see he's come around, and he's a pretty big fan of getting groomed, and he'll let me do a lot of stuff to him. Comb him and stuff. And that used to be a big problem and pretty unsafe. Right there. So I've been doing clicker training, positive reinforcement training with animals for 15 years now. Let's see, hold on, I gotta count it up. Started in 2006, so we're coming up on 14 years. Somebody's excited to do some looking around. And I got into it because I used to do traditional training, punishment-oriented training, and found it not to be nearly as effective. And I started reading up on the science of working with animals, and most of that comes out of behavioral science, and behavioral science is pretty well settled on the best way to learn, and especially the best way to overcome trauma, like the kind that Canner's been through, is by using positive reinforcement. So that's what we do. You can see with the comb, he's pretty into it, and I don't have to like use a food reinforcer very much, if at all, in order to get him to do the behavior. If there was something else going on, like if I wanted to start working on him with not, grazing a little bit on this dropped oats, I could do that, and then I would start clicking treating, because it'd be a new behavior, something novel that he's not already used to offering. But I don't really care what he does when I'm combing him. I want him to just feel relaxed and like he can do whatever, and that keeps the comb pretty positive. But this right here, this handy little gadget, is called a clicker. It's just a tool to help people bridge the gap between, oh yeah, you want some more combs? Food reinforcers, the things that release dopamine in the brain, and the behavior that the animal is offering. So he says, let's do some training, stop talking. So we'll do a little bit of work, and I'll try and talk you through what we're up to. Canner's pretty familiar with it at this point. What you looking at? So I'm just going to have him touch his halter, and that's going to get a click and a food reward. I'm going to try and make it fun, so he has to find his way into his halter, which is pretty cool. Just teaching him that his halter leads to good things. So he's got to put his own nose in there. If you get the click now, I'm raising criteria to make the game a little bit harder, a little bit more fun. So now I'm adding in 2 loops. Might be a little hard to see from this angle, but I'm holding it like this, and the goal is that he puts his nose deep enough that he hits like 2 of the loops. Nothing too crazy. So he missed it on that one. I'm not too worried about it. Here you go. Good. And he started playing the next round of that game. Take a break. When we're teaching new stuff, which this is, it's a game that we played before, but we usually don't play it in places where he's a little bit nervous, and we play it before we start training. So that's different enough that I can reteach the game. He knows a lot of different behaviors. Following my hand is one of them. Good horse. What else do you know? Back up. Oh yeah, that's not quite it. Sometimes it gets a little bit confused between back up and bow. Let's back up, forward, whoa. You like stomp? Back up. Good job. You wanna? He's like, I want to play stomp, please. Stomp is the best one out of all of them. Fist bump. Good. Whoa. Good, relax. Take a bow. So, when I'm playing those games with him, especially like in a place we haven't been in a little while, like working, I like to make sure and just keep a pretty high rate of reinforcement. If, good. If we'd been doing this more regularly, my rate of reinforcement would be lower. Yeah, wouldn't it be? So he's just practicing relaxing as he puts on his halter, which he's gotten quite good at. You want to do one more? You put it all the way on? It was a little bit not the best on my part because I kind of flipped it on him at the last second there. It's okay. You're caught. But I'm just kind of trying to keep things moving forward. So he puts his halter on himself. He puts his nose in and then lets me flip it, just kind of push through his ears. I think I'll probably keep working on that so that he literally just does this until it slides right up. But for right now, it's pretty good. Can I catch ya? He's a little distracted by something. We'll give him a break. Probably just because I upped the stakes a little too fast and furious for where we are right now, which is okay. Everybody gets to make mistakes sometimes, any sort of training. The important thing is just to learn from those mistakes and not keep repeating them. So next time I put on his halter, we'll take it a little bit slower. Yeah, you want to do some more work? Yeah, it's no big deal, is it? Are you caught? I like to play a game called Catcha, where he just comes over to me and lets me catch him. I gotcha. Let's go. Whoa. Leave it. Back up. Another game that he really likes is this Leave It game, where he pretends that there's no food in there, although he's pretty excited right now, so he's got to check. Good Leave It. Here you go. What other games do you know? Do you remember? Can you relax? This is relaxing. Take it. Yeehaw! Whoa! Take it. Yeehaw! Whoa! Can I catch ya? Oh, I gotcha. Was that fun? Were you having a good time? Cool. Hey, if there's any questions, you can let James know and he'll feed them to me. What else do people need to know about you, Mr. Horse? Kenner's a pretty good guy. He's coming up on, he's getting pretty old. He's in his teens, which is like middle age for a horse. Fist bump. Pets. To my knowledge, so James just asked how Kenner's been doing socializing with the rest of the herd, and as far as I know, he's been doing fine. I haven't heard any reports otherwise. He's got some friends. He seems to be doing a pretty good job just making friends if he gets moved around. The osprey somebody's being distracted along the river over there. You out of here? He's like, can I go eat all that grass over there now? Oh, he also might just be ready to go exploring a little bit. Any other questions, James? No problem. No, I'm not interested in riding. That's not really my thing, nor is it his. I think he's a pretty dangerous horse to take that on. I think he's very trainable and I could probably get him there, but if I'm wrong about that, he or I are gonna have a problem. I enjoy just getting to hang out and work with him, teach him stuff, watch him grow and become more comfortable. Schnack. I guess I should have checked for hay before I came in here. It's like, oh, that's dinner. Here you go. Oh, we got a good smell. We gotta check out everything else first. Anything good in there? So I'm not interested in riding him. I don't think it's a good idea for anybody really to ride him. He's come a long way, but it would only take, two really scary things happen at once for him to throw somebody pretty good, and that's not the sort of horse you want to ride. I think that, people like to think that horses have one utility, but I think that all animals, just like humans, have lots of different things that they can get good at or have opportunities to do, and Canner's been a good advocate for rehabilitating horses. He was going to be put down, but I intervened and took him on, and pretty much everybody who met him before that had suggested he be put down because he was too hot, too flighty, too fearful, too explosive, etc. And I think he's a good proof that, like, if we readjust our expectations and give leeway to these creatures that we've forced into this position of having to live at our whim, they can do a lot of really cool, good things, be advocates, learn a lot of stuff, make some friends, teach people things. Canner's helped people who have fear of horses or trauma, and I think he's done a lot of good of his own. That wouldn't have happened if people would have just given up on him, and really the people who were ready to give up on him were all people who were super concerned with his rideability more than anything else. So his utilitarian function for them, and had no real concern or thought to the way people had treated him and what sort of that meant for what we might owe him, which is my bigger concern. I like to see him exploring over here on his own. This is a spot that he's often been pretty nervous of in the past, so he's gotten much braver where he wants to go check some stuff out, and it used to be that he'd need me or another horse to really feel comfortable walking through there, and he'd rarely do it of his own accord, if ever. But he's pretty excited with the possibility of getting to go graze, so he's gonna go check it out, show off a little bit. So we're working on going in and out of spaces. I catch ya? Oh, I got ya. Oh, knee forward. Very nice. Thank you. Let's go. You want to go take a look at Mystery Spot? Yeah? Okay. That's a good target. Push. There you go. Okay, you can load up. Let's see if he can go in with me behind. He might not be able to. That's a big ask. All right, I'll go in first. Did you get it? Can you whoa? Good. He's liking training right now. Whoa. Okay. Since I've done this specifically, it was last year. So we did do some work in the barn not that long ago, maybe a week ago or so. I didn't get a chance to come out for about a week because I got pretty sick and I lost my car key, which was very unfortunate because it's my only car key, which is a story that is quite as boring as it is frustrating. But I did try and get other car keys, and it has been a nightmare. So my car's out of commission until I can get another key, which I have lined up for tomorrow. Man, it's okay. It's okay. Just relax. You can see it's a little bit spooky of that move in his periphery. Close it. Thanks. But yep, he remembers pretty well because like we have not rehearsed any of these behaviors very much for probably like about a year. Leave it, let's go. And he's doing a good job remembering. He's like, let's go over here. Let's go graze this grass. By the way, hi Celia. I'm gonna move over to this area and see if he wants to come check it out. But I like that he's taking a little break. And when we're doing training, it's good that they get those little breaks while they're working on stuff to think about what they're doing. I like to think of it as processing time. The brain, any brain, horse or human, when working on new, exciting, potentially scary things especially, needs a chance. Take it. Pull. Let's go. To have little pauses where it can just think about whatever it wants. During those times, brain starts sorting the information that's important from the stuff that's not. And so when we insist on an animal continuing to constantly work or train, especially on novel material, they'll start to shut down. And you can, like humans do this too, if you've ever been in a physics class where someone talked a lot without a break, and you start to zone out and get sleepy, that's just your brain telling you you need that time to process. And when you don't build that into training plans or learning experiences, what ends up happening is that the amount of new information acquired really gets a lot lower, so the training will be slow. So ready to go out there and eat some grass. He's like, let's do that. So I like it when they take little breaks. Ideally, you're letting them know to take the break ahead of them taking it, but I'm not always the best at that with my horse. Let's see. All right, I want to do a little more here and see if he's interested in checking out this. See if he's interested in, I gotcha, trying out this going into the barn, which is a pretty scary thing for him. Take a break. We'll be generalizing the games that we're playing now to the trailer as soon as I get that set up later on. Are you going to close it? He says, no, I don't want to do barn stuff. How about you help me open it? Yeah, pull. Good. You got to scope it out. Did a nice easy turn away. That's all I want to see, really. I'm going to get one more thing, which is his target. The donkeys are getting very jealous. We've done some training before. And they're ready. They're wondering why he gets to do all the training and they don't. Where do I put that? Oh, it's in my pocket, Canner. Is it in my pocket? Where'd I put it? Where'd I put my target, Canner? Where'd I put your target? I thought I set it up here, but I leave it in the... Well, dang. Oh, I think I know where it is. Look at him going around the circle. Yeah! That was great. Oh, I remember now. My pocket is ripped. I put it not in the pocket part, but in the rip part. Here we are. Here you go. So this is his target. It's one of the ways that I use to move him. Target training just means that the animal touches or moves to something. We'll see if he's interested in targeting. He's really just interested in seeing who's over there hanging out right now. It's like, I want to go hang out with those guys. Those are my friends. Do one quick time check before I get too ahead of myself. Working out in the barn. So I'm going to give them just a few minutes to explore over there, then we'll do one quick session over at the barn, and then we'll probably call it a day. If you do have questions for me or Canner, now's a great time to get them in there so James can pass them along. I'm really excited to be getting back to training, working with my horse, maybe some donkey training and some dog training over the course of the summer. I am traveling a lot for work, so there'll be some breaks, but hopefully we'll get a good amount of sessions in. My next one's going to be, and we're going to skip next Thursday because I'll be in California working an event, but then I'll be back the Thursday after, and we're going to keep going with some we're gonna keep going with some prep for building up some skill sets to get better at trailer loading. But I really do enjoy getting to work with this barn, and it's nice and open right now. So we'll see if we can do just 1 or 2 clicks and then call it a day. Gonna do some loading in the barn? What do you think? So the barn is nice because it's kind of like a trailer in that it's a gradual pull. Incline up onto a different surface, and it's enclosed. And for a horse like mine who didn't get introduced to those things early on, having things that approximate it, that he learns safe ways to navigate ahead of like the trailer is really good. Unfortunately, we had to move way too fast with the trailer way back when, so he's still pretty nervous of it. But if I do a good job this summer, it'll look a lot more like the brush over there does, something that he really enjoys doing. That means really positive stuff is happening. So I'm okay with him just hanging out over here grazing because he's like exploring space, a tighter space than what he's usually used to, and he gets to have a lot of positive associations with it, which is great. He's feeling a little bit afraid. It's okay. You want some pets? So he just got really stiff and kind of shaky. You probably couldn't see it, but see now he's backing out. He can just like jolt, like get a little bit more jumpy in his movements. Here you go, take it. I'll help you out. So what's going on right now is the lure of that green grass, or some like different kinds of grass over there that he probably hasn't been getting a lot of lately, is really high, but the space makes him pretty nervous. So he's willing to like kind of move a little bit further than he would if that grass wasn't there. It's what you call a lure, right? Where you put something really valuable in order to try and get an animal into a space. It's not ideal for trading because we want behavior to precede the reinforcer, not the reinforcer to precede the behavior. And while that gets a little bit tricky sometimes, all it basically means is that if that reinforcer is driving the behavior, the grass is getting him to go in there, he's going to be more skittish. He's going to be less likely to be able to do the behavior without the reinforcer present. And if we do a good job of having the behavior happen, there's a marker, and then the reinforcer comes, the behavior becomes stronger, and novel behaviors, doing those behaviors, becomes more reinforcing than the actual food that you're using. It's a pretty interesting trick of evolution that we animals evolved to have the things that lead to food be release more dopamine and other positive neurochemicals. But it's not really the worst thing because he's still getting a really positive association with this. It's just you don't want to rely on training that way a lot. So you could see you kind of like wanted to jerk away from it. Can you relax a little bit? And I'm not going to attempt to try and like fight with all this reinforcement that's over here. I'd rather just see him getting some time in here to really relax and be comfortable, so that as we move into this space, he's already got a positive association with it. So he's moved through the barn a few times in the past, but he's always been pretty nervous of it. So I want him to ideally get up to the point where he's just pretty excited to do it. Yeah. Give him another minute or two, and then we'll probably call it a day. I might let him graze a little bit more. And as I say goodbye, so I use I don't use his name to call him just because I could teach him it for sure. It's not very difficult to do. But so many different people interact with him who know his name that I don't want it to be denuded or like diminished by people using it all the time. I like to have my cues, the things that get behavior to happen to be very specific, and if you start using those cues a lot without the behavior following them, what you're doing is you're desensitizing the animal to those cues. So I don't like to, like, his common name is not the name that I would use to teach him to come, but what I do use is I have like a whistle and stuff, and I would call him, but I don't think he'd come away from that really nice grass that he's been looking forward to in that spot, and I'd rather he get the reinforcement of getting to hang out over there and check it out for a little bit. So cool. Well, I think we should probably call it a day. What do you think, James? Yeah, thanks. Alrighty, so I think we'll call it. I appreciate y'all showing up, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all more later on. Good to see you, Celia. Nice to see you new folks. Thanks to James for running the camera. As I said, I'll be back Thursday. Oh geez, I already forgot the date. It was a long drive out after a long day of work today, so. But not next Thursday, but the following Thursday at 6:30. We'll do another session. If you have any questions in the meantime, be sure to leave them. You can check out my Explore page under the Explore section of the website, and there's a nice little handy spot there where you can leave any sort of questions, and then I can address them on camera. So hope to see you all in 2 weeks, and then I'll be back again the following week, and then I think the following week, and the following week. So you'll be seeing a lot more of me, and hopefully you'll be seeing this guy progressing, getting better about being more comfortable in tight spaces, and eventually hopefully the trailer. So thanks again for coming out. I appreciate it. Thanks again, James, for cam hopping. Thanks to the whole community for turning up and making this great thing happen. I'm going to hang up, and then I'll still be poking around a little bit while I get my horse settled, so you'll see me wandering for a second. Thanks everybody, bye.